What's going on, guys? Today I have a pretty cool video on the Spirit Halloween Jack Straw. Now I believe this is the first generation because I actually would drive past the house that had this guy because they did a pretty big display. And unfortunately they won't be doing it anymore, but I ended up buying a lot of their stuff. But I do remember driving past their house the first year Jack Straw came out and seeing him. I'm like, oh wow, I really want him because he's an awesome jump scare prop. He's up there in like some of the best jump scare props Spirit has ever made. Not the best, but he's up there with some of the best. And I just remember seeing him, and then I'm like, oh wow, I want him. And then the next year, I had a steady income and was able to purchase him. But as we all know, how expensive Spirit is, and they only get worse every year. Now, this is not the one that I made a video on a few years ago. I did make a demo video on it not too long ago, but this one hasn't been seen other than that. I got it at a garage sale a few weeks ago for 15 bucks, and the reason it was 15 bucks is because it was pretty beat up and destroyed. It was used outside, but I got it all fixed up, and I'll go ahead and go through the issues. So the original owner, after it kind of broke the first time, they're just like, they were done with it, so they put a huge piece of wood all the way through it, and they used that outside as like hold them up, which was interesting. But I took that off, and then there was a wire off for his eyes. I soldered that back to the connector. The chain in the module right there, I think you can see that chain. That controls his head. The chain pulls when he jumps, and that pulls his head and his arms up. So that was something happened, and that was not set up properly, because when he would sit down, the chain would get pulled and cause his head to pop up, and then when he would go standing into the standing position, the head would just fall forward, which was really weird. So I just took that apart and reset the chain. And the biggest issue probably was this down here, when the lower connection for the spring snapped, and luckily he still had it, so I was able to glue it in there, but then it broke again because this spring put so much force on it. So what I did is I shot a screw all the way through to kind of create a new shaft, because the older one snapped right here. Then I shot 2 more screws in for more support, glued the crap out of it, and then taped the crap out of it. So I mean, that is really strong. Hopefully it's good to go for a long time. And I do know these first generation Jack Straws were a little bit faulty. I know a lot of the store displays, you can go see videos and the store displays are broken, but to be honest, with mine I haven't had any issues, which is really good. Now, the one I have is a 2nd gen, so I don't know if they changed anything, but this one seems to be working fine as well. Now, I'll go ahead and plug him in so we can get to the demo. He is gonna have to reset. It's a little noisy, but it's what you get with Spirit props. Alright, he is motion activated, so we'll go ahead and set him off. And as you can see, he works perfectly. And there's that iconic laugh. Everyone that walked through my haunt last year knew this laugh, and they're like, oh my gosh, that laugh gets so old because he does it for so long. But I'll go ahead and activate him one more time to get him in the standing position again, and then unplug him. So one thing I did want to mention is with props like this that jump, like You always want to store them in the up position. So when I have this guy inside in the month of October, I always have him displayed like this, just to save the wear on the springs, so the springs don't get worn out and it lasts much longer, and the jump scare stays very, I don't know how to describe it, I guess faster, not as, like if you store it while it's sitting down, the springs will get stretched out and he won't jump up as good. The same thing goes with like jumping spider and a lot of the jumping props. This guy is made by Crazy Create, and oh boy, do I love Crazy Create. Not really, but they make cool props, they make unique props. I do have, most of my spirit props are surprisingly Crazy Create, unfortunately, but they make cool stuff. It's just their stuff is a pain to set up. Like, they always have stuff with screws. I don't have them screwed in right now because I forgot, but you see right there, his head has to get screwed in, and they always have zip ties, so like his arms and his knees need to be zip tied in, which is just a pain. Like, I don't use zip ties, I use like the bread ties now. I just use those so that I don't have to mess with zip ties. And then I don't know why they could have, there's not a real way to get around the screws. I just wish they would have been like every other company and used the metal push-in pins. Like, he has some of them like on his base, but like, why not do the head as well? Because it would just make the setup so much easier. If you have a Crazy Create prop, you know what I'm talking about. They're just a pain, but they do make really cool items, like this one, for example. So this one will be for sale because I don't need 2 jack straws. Like I was saying, I have a 2nd generation back in storage. Unfortunately, this one does not have the original box, but overall, he's in pretty good shape now after I got him fixed up. I don't have anything else to say about this guy, so I'll go ahead and end the video here, and thanks for watching.